By the way, you got pen and paper? Write this down. If you haven't got pen and paper, you can't. Here we go. This is it. What you say, you become. Say it with me. If you keep saying you're stupid, you'll become stupid. You keep saying you can't, right, John? You can't. You keep saying you're worthless, you'll become worthless, right, Jason? Met some of your friends, Mike. Okay. Here's the bottom line. Now listen to me now. So that's why you say affirmations. Now, some guy never done affirmations before, right? Dennis? I mean, written your own. So he comes to me. Can I tell him? He comes to me and he's saying, I'm into the negative. So I said, well, change it. He says, what do you mean? I said, change it. Instead of, I can't, this is somebody who is relapsed. Maybe more than once. Some of you here, I can't, I keep, I don't understand. Change it. Instead of I don't understand, instead of I'm stupid, instead of I'm worthless, I have dignity. Change the tape. You change the tape, you change your life. I just want to stay in America. I want to see the world. God doesn't care for me. God is part of my life. But when you do it, this is what Dennis wrote. All right, Dennis? He's just wrote those now. Every morning, gets up, gets on his knees. I am able. Say it with me. I am able. I am willing. I am caring. I am strong. I am capable. I am worth it. I am smart. Now, why you say that is because how many people have been telling you you're nothing? I've not been in Albany long, but I can tell you this. I see a lot of pain in Albany. You know, and I don't know what this is all about, but I see a lot of pain in Albany. And you're real good on the surface of everything's okay, but I see a lot of sadness. We got a group here. I had a group photograph with them because they wanted a photograph. And the leader of the group has got a nickname that's beyond... I mean, I tell you, it's a nickname I'd never heard in my whole life. Once I heard a parrot. A parrot was called this. Tell him that nickname. Rup. How you doing, Rup? You know, but Rup turned around, Rup, come on, seriously. Because it doesn't matter whether he does it or not. This is the intention that Rupp has. He says to me, Father, I've got 3 things. I'm going away. He says, I've only been here this morning. I've got 3 things. Tell him the 3 things, Rupp. I'm going to work on his language. He's going to learn to speak Spanish. Give it a hand. Come on. Yeah. It's amazing. Some of you know Albert Schweitzer. Albert Schweitzer was the person who went to Africa, a place called Lambreni. Where? Lambreni. When he was in you know how old he was? He was 55 years of age when he learned to be a doctor. 55 years of age, Albert Schweitzer, who was known as an intellectual, he went to medical school. And then he went and worked with lepers. I don't know whether you realize it, but you got the whole of your life, right, Josh? Yeah, keep the guys in order, Josh. They're doing well. What do you think about the guys from this St. Paul? What do you think? Paul Howe. Hey, up. Cajun. Up. Named after St. Paul or Paul Schweitzer. Which one? Dr. Paul? Okay. Stay focused here. What does it say at the top? Let's say it together. Now, one of the things is, ask yourself a question. Have you got cross addictions? No, I mean, you don't have to shout it out. Lord, we kind of know. We're looking at you. What you got to ask yourself is, have you got cross addictions? In other words, we know you're a drug addict. We know you're an alcoholic. That's what you're in recovery for. But there's some other stuff. Let me tell you what could be a big problem. Sex addiction. Ladies, hold it. Just hold it down. Every time I make, oh yeah. Just hold it down, girls. But let me tell you why. Sex addiction can get you into unhealthy relationships, which can set you up for rejection, which then brings you back to drugs and alcohol. Same with gambling. Same with food. That's why not everybody takes this viewpoint, but I take the viewpoint, and that is, deal with your core addictions first, but then address the others. When? Maybe your first year. I mean, get your first year completed, then start to look at the others. I've heard people who smoking, and this is what they say. They say, Father Leo, I can't give up all my addictions all at once. I agree. But set yourself a time when you're going to deal with it. You know? It's like if you want to work out. If you want to work out, set your time when you're going to work out. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? The afternoon? Set your time. Stay to your time. Okay? If you can't say it, you won't be it. Okay? So if you want to be a star, if you can't say it, remember you want to know Johnny Depp in a treatment center. As you know, Johnny Depp is an actor. But one of the things, he says the same. He has to see the part he's playing in order for him to do it. If he can't see it, he can't be it. I'll tell you, if you've not dealt with your sex abuse, if you've not dealt with your emotional abuse, if you've not dealt with even your sexual identity, because don't be a silly people. Not everybody is. You've got many different types of people here. You've got to be comfortable with who you are. Okay? Last night, a couple came to me. They've been together 7 years. Two lesbians have been together 7 years. I said, I'm glad that you two have found each other. I bless you. I'm just glad that you have found each other. I don't want to be pointing the finger at anybody. But you've got to know yourself. No parent here wants to find their son or their daughter committing suicide because of their sexual identity. I know this. I know my mother's 88 years old. She loves me unconditionally. Did she let go with my drinking? Yes, but she still loves me. Deal with your guilt. Deal with your shame. How do you deal with your guilt? How do you deal with your shame? How you deal with your guilt and how you deal with your shame is you find somebody that you can trust and you start to talk about it. And let a person take you. Let them ask the question. What was your relationship like with your mother? What was the relationship like with your family? What is the relationship like with your school friends? Guilt. By the way, you know the difference? Write it down if you don't. The difference between guilt and shame. They're not the same. Guilt is about what you say or you do. So if you steal or you say something bad to somebody, it creates guilt. Shame is about who you are. So racism creates shame. Okay? Sexual abuse creates shame. Where did this come from? Can you believe it? It's like a miracle. Shame is about who you are. Guilt is about what you do. Don't get the two mixed up. Right, John? You with me, Jason? Who are you listening to, Jason? Are you listening to me? Are you sure? I know it's hard to focus. Come and sit on the end here. Come on. We'll love you at the end. Give a hand. Give a hand to it. Come on. Yeah. He and I have got something in common. Both part Irish, right? Yeah, both part Irish. Can't you tell? Look at him. Hey, for the Irish. Okay. Here's another thing. I've talked about relapse. Now, you've not took a drink yet. But you've not dealt with this stuff. This is the stuff. Are you a child of an alcoholic? In other words, was your father or mother alcoholic? And have you been able to talk about that? Characteristics of a child of an alcoholic. 3 characteristics. Write it down if you don't know. It's very simple. Children from alcoholics don't talk, don't trust, and don't feel. Say it with me. Don't talk, don't trust. So sometimes you see a kid, it could be somebody young, boy, girl. They don't talk. They're in their own world. There's a reason for that. The little girl that goes in the corner and plays with the dolls but doesn't talk to anybody. You don't talk, you don't trust. How can you trust when you grew up in a house like this? You don't talk, you don't trust. And what do you do with your feelings? You stuff your feelings. Don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. Now what you've got to ask yourself is, how am I in this world? How am I in this world? Am I somebody who talks about the real stuff, or am I kind of shut down? Do I trust people? Do you trust your sponsor? Do you trust? And do you talk about your feelings? Or do you stuff them? Don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. Now, you don't deal with this. I'm telling you, you're going to reach a point one day when you're going to pick up that drug or you're going to snort that drug. Codependency. Codependency is a sickness. Codependency is not healthy. Codependency is not love. It's being needy. Neediness is not love. That's when you cling to people. It's pathetic. You hang on to people. As I said last night, Barry Manilow sings songs for codependence. I can't live without you. Yes, you can. Okay. All right, Mike? Now, I'll tell you, this is a whole lecture in itself, and I may well be coming back one day to do this for you, but this is the bottom line. I'm telling you, the symptoms of religious addiction and religion. About the color of their skin, still happy. People make fun of the way they speak, still happy. People make fun of their families, still happy. You know they're not happy. And by the way, those of you who are Christian, Jesus got pissed off at a lot of people. And why do you think they killed him at 33? They didn't kill him because he was happy. Oh, we got to kill this guy. He's too happy. The reason they killed Jesus was he turned around and said, that is not the way to speak to people. You wear these religious robes, but inside you're rotten. Why cannot the Samaritans and women come to me? You know, God's love is not just to the Jews. And because of that, they put him on the cross at 33. And just for you to know, because some of you are interested in this, never believe that the crucifixion was putting the nails in his hands. It was here. You put the nail in the hand, it will fall through because of the weight of the body. That's where you put the nail. And that you didn't die, you bled to death. That's how you died. Because when you put the nail through here, you cut the veins, and usually 3 to 4 hours, and you're dead. It was the worst kind of death, because people used to come and say things and throw rocks at you, as well as, of course, you're stuck on the cross. Just again for you to know, because a little bit of history, most criminals were not crucified on a cross because the Romans would not waste the wood. You were crucified on a tree. Don't think for 1 minute that for a criminal they would build a cross for you. You would be put on a tree. This is very big. By the way, it's not just big for young girls, it's also for boys, and that is sexual abuse and incest. Okay? Far more girls talk about it than boys. The reason why would boys not talk about sexual abuse? Because shame of what? Somebody mentioned it over there. Homophobia, but what do they fear? That people will think that they're gay. Of course, unless you are sexually abused by a woman, by your sister or your... But abuse is abuse. Now, what you've got to figure out, there's the list. There's the list. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you were to tick 1 to 7, how many do some of you have? And if you've got all of them, and you've not... And now, it's different if you're dealing with it, but if you don't deal with it, I'm serious, you've got 3 or more, why are you surprised you're relapsing? You're not a happy camper. And you know if you're not a happy camper, alcohol and drugs is going to take you out of your unhappiness. For a day, for a week. Here we go. What are the warning signs? How do you know if somebody's going to relapse? How do you know if somebody's going to go out and use again? First thing is, they are on an emotional roller coaster. Say it with me. Say it with me. Moods, up, down. One morning they're okay. Next, don't play with that now. Do that later. Take it off him, Josh. What's the matter with you? What's your first name? Sitting next to Mike. Huh? Tony. Nice to see you, Tony. Is it Anthony? Antonino. Very nice. Antonino. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you were French. Okay. Emotional roller coaster, Antonino, right? Up and down, up and down. One minute you're happy, next minute you're sad. One minute you're smiling at everybody, the next minute you're shouting. You got somebody like that? You know somebody like that? Be careful, because that person's likely to go out again. Hey, what does the second one say? Come on, guys. Meetings is not an option for you. At a minimum, you should be going to 3 meetings a week. At a minimum. And you do not have if you don't have a sponsor, you get a sponsor. You don't have to like the sponsor. You don't have to pick a sponsor because the sponsor's your friend. Your sponsor's not there to be your friend. He's there to be your sponsor. And the sponsor mirrors back what he sees. What does a sponsor do? So when you sit there with him and you turn around and say, what do you see? I see a lot of anger, Jack. I see a lot of anger. I don't think you're telling me the truth anyway. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. And I don't sponsor people now because I travel too much. But I can tell you what I say to people. I say, you're not talking to me, Frank. So why go find somebody you need? You've got to get a sponsor that you respect. And by the way, I wouldn't pick a friend. You don't need that kind. Friends. Irritability. You're irritable. It's a dry drunk. You may not be drinking, but you're irritable all the time. Picking on people all the time. I tell you, these women. Oh, what's the next one? What's the next? Come on, hit me with it, John. Isolation. What's the matter, Jason? Just nothing. Isolation is when you pull back. Isolation is when you're not sharing. Isolation is when you're not saying what's going on. Isolation is what this disease does. It's not about being involved. Next one, come on, say it together. That's what I said earlier about compulsive behaviors. Ladies, watch the food. You get into food, you start getting fat, you don't like what you see, and then you move to what the hell, why the hell, and then you go. You don't like yourself, you'll always take drugs. And then, what's the next one? Come on now, hit me with it, Albany. You start hanging around the same areas, you start hanging around the same people, you start using the same stuff, and before you've joined, you've gone right back. That's where you want to go. Don't waste your time and don't waste my time. Go. You owe me nothing, I owe you nothing. Go. I much prefer to stay focused with a recovery group of 40 people. Who needs 100 people if 20 or 30 of them are not on board? All you do is mess it up for others. Now, when I'm at a treatment center, first thing I do at the treatment center is go back to see if you've made your bed. If you've not made your bed, you're out of there. Simple as that. I wouldn't give this disease 1 inch. I wouldn't give it 1 inch. Because I don't care how much I like the person, as far as I'm concerned, one person, one apple that is not committed can affect the rest of the barrel. I'll tell you the truth. It's very simple. You get up, you go to meetings, you do your job, you know what it is to be a drunk, you know what it is to be sober. Here we go. Emotional and physical relapse. This is when you do not drink and you do not use drugs, but you're heading towards an emotional and physical, and that's when you catch yourself. In other words, you clench, you start getting stressed, and you start to perspire, and you can't sit still. See, you always got to keep going. If you sit in a chair, serenity. Here's another one, and that is that you keep avoiding the issue. When are you going to start to talk about your family? When are you going to talk about what you want? When are you going to talk about your goals? What's the matter with you? What's going on? Not so much for younger people, but for older people, it's very clear. Your relationship's a mess. Nobody's fault. Who said it's anybody's fault? But a relationship is a breakdown. You're not connecting anymore. Why are you surprised? You're not going to make, if you have sex, it's not going to be love. And chances are you're not even going to have sex. Remember what I said to you? This is emotional and physical relapse. You are not connecting. And you know the sad thing is, you both know it. It's kind of like you can't get warm anymore. It's kind of like, instead of like you used to be, you used to hold hands, you used to be close with each other. Now it's kind of like, it's like a separation. It's almost like there's a wall between you. How many times have you been out, you see people, you know that's why a lot of husbands and wives who are alcoholics go to AA? They can't be on their own. And then afterwards they go and have coffee with 16 other people. And then they take 12 people on a holiday with them. It's like, God forbid they should be with each other. It's like they keep going on a coach trip. Unless they're surrounded by 8 or 9 other people. You know, Barbara Streisand sang the song, "We Don't Talk Much Anymore." It's over. And I'm telling you, you're going to know it's over. There isn't a child here that doesn't know when the mother doesn't love them. Now, I was very much loved by my mother, but I've seen people, sons and daughters, and it's real clear. The mother doesn't want any time with that daughter. It's a horrible thing when your own mother doesn't love you. She says she does, but there's nothing that she does that tells you that she loves you. And here's the other thing. You keep changing your job. You keep changing your friends. You keep changing. 1 minute you're this, 1 minute you're that. There's no stability. There's no focus. This is relapse. Now, I'm getting near the end now, so you've been a tremendous audience. I just want to show you the box. This is a terrible box. This is the box of the relapse. Notice it starts with fear and it ends with fear. It's the box. You fear you're going to drink again, you fear you're going to use again, you fear you're never going to have any money, you fear you're going to be on your own, and that fear creates guilt and shame. And after the guilt and shame comes disempowerment, which means you're not powerful anymore. You become a yes person. You become a follower. Instead of being your own person, going to your own tune, now what you're doing is, this is why you join a gang. This is why you join a group. Somebody tells a racist joke and you know what? You laugh. Somebody says something about Jews, you laugh. Somebody says something about blacks or Italians, you laugh. You don't agree with it, but you laugh. You know why? Because you're weak. What do you like going walking down the street on your own without the gang? See, you come into this world alone. Even if you're a twin, you don't come out together, you come out alone. And I'll tell you something, you're going to die. I've been a priest for over 25 years. I've been with a lot of people, and you die alone. No one else can die for you. Weak people, you'll be surprised. They're always seeking attention, they're always messing up. But I'll tell you something, they cannot walk this path alone. You've got to be an individual before you can ever give anything to anyone else. Okay? You're an individual before you're a family. Say it with me. I'm an individual. Say it again. I'm not married. I have a house in England. I have a house in Long Beach, down in Los Angeles. I travel the world. I go to China, get on an aeroplane. I'm going to Virginia tonight to speak tomorrow in Virginia. I tell you, there's nowhere I wouldn't go. I'd sit in Chicago, south side Chicago, which is 90% black. I'd sit in Chinatown, Koreatown in Los Angeles. Doesn't bother me. Isn't any food I can't eat? Isn't any culture I don't understand? I'm my own person. I don't need a gang. The 12 steps is for people who are individuals, not groupies. And how you know disempowerment is, you feel weak in your body, so you feel tired all the time. You're always damn tired. It's ridiculous. You're always tired. You never want to do anything. You never want to go anywhere. You never want to write anything. You never want to read. In fact, you never finish anything. Some people, you can give them a book like this. They ain't going to read it. You give it to somebody else, they'll read it every day. Some people are just lazy. All you've got to do is figure out who's lazy and who isn't. Figure out who to run with and who not to. Your choice. I can't tell you how many people says, "Can I be your friend, Leo?" I don't want you as my friend. I don't want you as my friend. You're a loser. Why do I want you as my friend? You're going to mess up my whole life. Go find some other loser. Go on. Don't hang around me. At the same time, what you've got to ask yourself is, have you got a whole lot of crazy people waiting for you at home? I mean, ask yourself, are they all waiting there? How did the workshop go? They're all sitting there waiting at home. Now, I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again. There's nothing wrong with going to Disneyland, but there's something wrong with wanting to live there. Are you living in Crazy Town? They're all there. Bottom line is, it starts in fear and it ends in fear. That's not the way for you to live. Here is my last slide to you. 3 actions. The 3 actions are, say it with me now because we're nearing the end. Choice. Say it again now.
Choice, responsibility, and action.
Come on now, last time.
Choice, responsibility, and action.
If you're in relapse, you've not relapsed yet, but you're on the slippery slope. You know it. Don't tell me you don't know. Don't insult my intelligence or your own. You make a choice today to go to a meeting. You make a choice today to get a new sponsor because obviously the old sponsor's not connecting. You make a choice. Don't hang around with losers. And you can smell a loser. You can tell a loser. They've got nothing. How many of you, nobody here is silly enough to go for advice on finances to somebody who's homeless? Why would you? Why would you go to somebody? You're going to know if a person's got recovery because they'll walk it, they'll talk it, they'll smell it, and they'll dress it. Some of you watch biography. You watch biography. Jerry Lewis was talking about when he first ever met Dean Martin, when he first met Dean Martin in New York. They were both doing separate acts. And Jerry Lewis says he was coming out of a hotel, and all of a sudden he saw this young Italian guy, Dean Martin, and he says, I looked at the way he was dressed, and I looked at the way he walked, and he says, I'd love to meet him one day. I just want to meet him. Now, that's what you see. You know, Dean Martin never put any effort into very much, but he was always, always successful. And he only pretended to drink the amount he did. Except towards the end, when his son died. You don't even have to think twice. Okay? I have met women, and I have met women who are ladies. I mean real ladies. I can tell the difference. It's a dignity. It's the way you dress. It's the way you talk. It's the way you're polite. I'm telling you, especially those of you who are parents of kids in America, visit Korea. Come with me and see China. You will see kids the same age, but they're not behaving the same way. There is no family without respect. And if you don't respect, then don't talk to me about family. There's no respect. Second, after choice. So you make a choice. I don't mean a choice about a meeting. I don't mean a choice about a sponsor. I'm talking about a choice about how you dress, how you talk, and who you hang about with. It can change your whole life. You're going to go to jail for some fool that you didn't even like. Number 2, responsibility. I'm very clear. Don't you say your prayers unless you're going to get up off your knees and do what you told. Do what you said. Responsibility. Your job about eating, your job about spending, your job about recovery. That's your responsibility. And you know what I say to mothers? I say, mothers, some of you are mothers here. You don't try to be your child's friend. What's the matter with you? You're her mother. She's got thousands of friends. She'll only have one mother. What is this trying to be? I want to be a friend. You do not want to be a friend. You do not. You want to be a mother. And the father, you be a father. Fathers don't want to be listening to what their sons are up to. That's what friends talk about. There's only one father. You're too needy. Why you want to be your kid's friend? Because of guilt, because of the way you behave. Now deal with it and be a mother. Nothing sicker than some mother trying to be a friend with a 16-year-old daughter. What's the matter with you? Be a mother. Tell her what's right. Tell her what's wrong. Tell her how to behave. Tell her you'll always be there for her. You don't have to be a friend. It's your responsibility to take care of your mind and your body and your feelings. And here's the third one. Talk about relapse. take action. You make a decision today. Remember what I said? I do not want to see you upstairs at Mass at 4 o'clock unless you want to be there. You don't go to Mass. You don't start messing with that stuff. You don't get on your knees unless you mean it. You don't. About 15 people from some, when I was in Tennessee, from some recovery place, and they came to the church and they were chatting. I said, go home. Go home early. Go home. You think we want you here? Take your bags and take your little chocolates and go home. We got important stuff to do here. And it's important stuff with God. You don't mess with God. You don't mess with your higher power. Because I'll tell you one thing. One day you may be on your knees. You may be on your knees begging. You just don't mess about with this stuff. I wouldn't even. I send them away. Action. You go in a new direction. Are some of you ready to go in a new direction? Albany, I'm going to ask what. It's like people going, who's he talking about? What's the matter with you? Okay, we try it again. Are some of you ready to go in a new direction? Yes. Are some of you ready to go in a new direction? Yes. Are some of you ready to go in a new direction? Yes. Then I will say to you, show me by the way you behave. I'm not interested in words. For example, let me give you an example. Ladies over here. You're in the next step. When you came here, you all knew each other. When you came here today, you all came together from next step. Did any of you come out of your box? Okay? You all right there, Jason? Good. Okay. Did any of you come out of your box? The box being the group you came with, and speak to anybody that you didn't know? Yeah. Okay. You said hello to people you didn't know. Okay. Guys over here. Paul House. Did any of you, Tonio, any of you, go out of your box and say hello? Say hello to somebody that you did not know. You did? Give a hand to Jason. Good for you, kid. Because I'll tell you something. You need new friends. And this is the recovering community. Just for you to know, this group, Anonymous Foundation, God knows how much they've spent. I tell you what, they're not going to get much change from 5,000-6,000. And that's for you. You made a commitment. You talk about gratitude. Because I tell you, I'm being serious, you can't get me to come and speak for less than for $300. I always make a joke. I say, oh yeah, me, I got plenty of money. I got $300 in 3 different banks. You know what I mean? Action. Are you prepared to go in a new direction? Are you prepared to make changes? Are you willing to do things differently? Remember what I said? Keep doing the same things, you'll keep getting the same results. Lights, Jim. Thank you. You can all applaud.